Hello, and thank you for checking out my video. In today's video, I would like to discuss the relationship between the United States and Honduras. Why the United States and Honduras are such close allies. This is a topic not discussed much in the news. So let's start exploring some of the reasons why the United States and Honduras are so closely allied with each other. Historically, Honduras has always been very friendly towards the United States. The governments of Honduras have always been friendly towards U.S. companies, the U.S. military, and Washington, D.C.'s political interests in Central America. The two main reasons why the United States and Honduras are so closely allied with each other are economic and political interests. The economic interests would be the fruit industry, for starters. Honduras is a major exporter of bananas, and U.S. companies such as Dole and Chiquita Fruits have a long legacy of operating in Honduras. The Honduran government allows these companies to come and purchase whatever plots of land, banana plantations they want in Honduras, and get bananas for cheap. Then there's also the textile industry in Honduras, where the United States can get clothes for cheap from textile factories from that country. And so the United States gets a lot of goods for cheap from Honduras, and the Honduran government that's currently in power allows for that to continue. The Honduras is the fourth poorest country in Latin America. It is a very poor country, and so they are always reliant on foreign aid from the United States and income revenue from U.S. companies operating there. And then there's the political interests. The United States says that Honduras is one of its closest partners in combating drug trafficking. So the United States has a military presence in Honduras, which goes back to the early 1980s. Since 1983, Honduras has hosted the U.S. military. Joint Task Force Bravo of U.S. Southern Command operates at the Soto Cano Air Base in Honduras. And it is there where the United States military trains and coordinates with the security forces of Honduras. The United States claims one of its missions is training the Honduran military and police in fighting drug trafficking to stop cocaine shipments from reaching the United States. The United States also claims that they're trying to train the police and military of Honduras to combat crime and bring down the murder rates. Since 2009, when a military coup occurred in Honduras, Honduras has been a very violent country with some of the highest murder rates in the world outside of a war zone. The United States keeps hoping that by pouring in more security aid to Honduras, it'll reduce the violence and reduce the illegal immigration coming from Honduras. Honduras is a major source of so many refugee caravans fleeing to Mexico and the United States. The United States does not like dealing with these refugees. So the United States hopes that having a stronger security forces in Honduras would somehow control the immigration situation. Since 2009, the right-wing National Party of Honduras has been ruling that country, and the National Party of Honduras is a very pro-American party. The politicians from that party, like Porfirio Lobo Sosa and Juan Orlando Hernandez, try to identify themselves as being very close to the United States, and they're very friendly towards American businesses, as I previously stated. Politicians like Hernandez and Sosa are very friendly towards the U.S. military. They're also claim that they're trying to work with the United States on the immigration issue more than other Central American countries are doing. So, giving all the stated reasons and goals the United States gives for being so closely allied with Honduras, what are the results from it? Has the violence and murder rates in Honduras significantly dropped and gotten better? No. So, officially, the murder rates may have dropped a little bit, but they are still one of the highest for the region, for the Western Hemisphere. And in terms of trying to stop drug trafficking in Honduras, so many scandals have come out to undermine that, showing the political elite, like Juan Orlando Hernandez's younger brother, Juan Antonio Hernandez, who I mentioned in another video, is in jail in the United States, a congressman, arrested by the DEA in Florida, caught with kilos of cocaine and machine guns. So many Honduran police officers have gotten caught working with drug traffickers. So the United States trains these soldiers and police in Honduras to fight drug trafficking, and then they end up working with drug traffickers. That's a real waste of money and resources. And in terms of improving human rights conditions, that is not improved because Honduras is still a site of lots of political assassinations and murders. Lots of human rights lawyers, environmental activists, journalists are regularly murdered in Honduras for the past 11 years, and it has not stopped. In so many cases, it's the security forces of Honduras carrying out these murders. Also, just ordinary unarmed protesters who protest against the leadership of Juan Orlando Hernandez also get killed with live ammunition by Honduran police and military who are trained by the United States. And this undermines the whole goal of having stability in Honduras. Instead, the United States is contributing to the problem. And how does this solve the immigration problem? It makes it worse. What is currently happening in Honduras is sort of reminiscent of what was happening in Panama back in the 1970s and 80s when the United States was working with a terrible dictator like Manuel Noriega, who did serve U.S. interests in terms of intelligence sharing and so forth. But at the same time, Manuel Noriega was, as we know, widely involved in cocaine trafficking and drug money laundering. And the United States turned a blind eye to it for a long time. And despite the fact that there were a lot of U.S. military troops stationed at the Panama Canal to inspect all the ships, a bunch of cocaine was still able to go through Panama. And so what difference did the U.S. troop presence make in Panama to fight drug trafficking? And right now in Honduras, yeah, there's a bunch of U.S. military troops stationed there in Honduras, yet so much drug still is able to go through the country, almost like a river, to the United States. How is that even possible? So after learning all that we have in this video, the U.S. foreign aid and military aid to Honduras really is a waste of money. All the military aid that the United States has poured into Honduras to try to fight drug trafficking and bring a more stable society have not worked. And all it does is it keeps enabling the violence pattern in Honduras, and more people leave Honduras, which defeats the whole purpose of reducing illegal immigration. And the drugs keep going through Central America and on the way to the United States, so this has not worked. It would be great if our government, the United States government, would hold the government of Honduras accountable in the same way it's trying to do with Venezuela and Nicaragua. So I hope everybody learned a lot from this video, and I hope it also spurs people to want to take action. And one of the best things to do is to write to Congress, as I have been doing, requesting that we stop giving military aid to Honduras and that we try to hold the Honduran government accountable. And that's one of the best ways to fix that country and then reduce illegal immigration from that country. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video.